All right, joining me now to talk about the unraveling of USAID, AID, and securing the border is Senator Ted Cruz from Texas. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Great to be with you. Thank you for having me.
All right, we were just playing this ridiculous clip of Chuck Schumer doing this like, we're going to win out front of the USAID building. I can think back a decade of talking to you, Rand Paul, and Mike Lee about the out-of-control spending. It's no longer the fringe. It's the mainstream now.
Yeah. Well, look, unfortunately, the Biden administration, they weaponized every aspect of government. When it comes to USAID, we're seeing more and more expose the abuse, the money that they paid for their radical left-wing agenda. They were funneling it in to support radicals all across the globe. And listen, I'm very glad that Elon Musk and Doge are leading the effort to go after and find this waste, and doing so with President Trump's leadership. This was a clear issue President Trump campaigned on. And in November, the president won a mandate. And right now, this administration is working to deliver on that mandate. And that is a very good thing for 31 million Texans and Americans all across this country.
Look, we know that there were some go along to get along Republicans. I won't name names that maybe even included some of their friends in some of this. But really, the voter is seeing, after suffering with inflation, 20 million here, 30 million there, DEI programs, transgender programs. This is not bringing clean water to the third world.
Right.
This is left-wing waste.
Well, and listen, right now you have the Democrats and you have their acolytes in the media that are losing their minds, and they're losing their mind because their cash cow has been stopped. And listen, there are legitimate roles for example, military aid to Israel that is critically important. There's legitimate roles for aid in the course of foreign policy if it is benefiting U.S. interests, if it is advancing the interest of the United States of America. But under Joe Biden, that was not what their objective was. Their objective, and the weaponization is whole of government. We saw it in the Department of Justice and the FBI. We saw it in every agency where they use the government to advance a radical agenda that has no bearing on what the American people want. And that is wholly inappropriate. And I'm very glad that the president has halted it and has said, we're going to focus on what Congress has appropriated, what Congress has legitimately spent, and what are the interests of the United States of America and the taxpayers, and funding every left-wing radical on planet Earth is not within that ambit.
I know we don't have a lot of time with you, but this is something that Trump and Republicans, and look, Republicans have campaigned it on the past, but this time loud and clear, Trump said, give me the power and I will deport the people in the country illegally. The Democrats think by using sanctuary city policies, they're going to win 26. I don't think that's possible if they try to thwart the president here.
Well, listen, the Democrats are engaged in massive resistance. What does this party stand for? This Democrat Party stands for open borders. It stands for bringing in murderers and rapists and child molesters and Venezuelan gang members. And every American family has been less safe over the last 4 years because of the invasion at the southern border. And this election we saw in November, it was an overwhelming result from the American people. Enough is enough. We want our families to be safe. And I got to say, there has never been a 2 weeks at the beginning of a presidency like this in the history of America. The president is hitting the ground running. The cabinet team is hitting the ground running. When it comes to securing the border, we had Marines on our southern border the first day the president was in office. We are seeing illegal immigrants and violent criminals being deported. And I got to say, just take as one vignette, the showdown with Colombia. The nation of Colombia, the left-wing anti-American president there, initially refused to allow planes to land in Colombia with illegal immigrants. The president immediately threatened 25% tariffs and said he'd ratchet them up to 50% tariffs. And within 8 hours, the president of Colombia caved and crumbled. I did an entire podcast on my podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz, just laying this out. The power of a president standing up for America. And I got to say, in Congress, we need to stand together, united, fighting for the American people.
I agree with you. Senator Ted Cruz, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.